What is up, guys? Welcome to the Unfazed Facts podcast, the podcast dedicated to all things Gym Leader Challenge. I'm Joshua Benson with my co-host, Jeff Baisch. And relatively recently, we had a regionals in Atlanta where there was all sorts of a Gym Leader Challenge fun to be had. And of course, I didn't get to go, unfortunately. So Jeff here has had a ton of things go on. He went to go play GLC, and he watched a lot of Pokemon himself. And I think milkshakes are involved. But, I didn't get to go. It was awesome to hear a little bit. But I told him, hey, take it back, because I want to hear all this on the pod fresh, where I can react live for you guys' entertainment. But anyways, we're going to get right into it. Jeff, tell me about a time that whenever you went to Atlanta and you played Gym Leader Challenge, like, what was your game plan going into the tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, first off, regionals are great because, like, you never really know what to expect. This was my second regional. I'd gone to, like, Charlotte before. I'm a Southeast guy. Like, I'm not going to drive very far. Family man at the house. I'm going to stay close to home. So getting a chance to go to Atlanta was great. Game plan was I loaded up all the decks, man. Like, I had no idea what I was going to play ahead of time. I loaded them all up. Logan, who you guys know I stream with regularly, had made me some fighting badges. I think I got one back here. I'll show you guys, for those of you who are watching me in YouTube.
Look at them badges.
There's the badges. So Logan made these for me. So I knew that at some point I was going to have to play fighting. So I brought my Hitmon Bros deck. And the idea was, people that beat me got these. So only one person got it, though, is what I'll say. All weekend long, and I'll get to talk about their deck list coming up here because they ended up going 4-0 in the event where they beat me. But yeah, it was. So I know I was going to play fighting at least once, and then from there I was just going to fill it on vibes. I wasn't going to play like anything like super, I guess, like meta Gym Leader Challenge. You guys know me. That's not what I'm going to play. I was going to play something I was going to enjoy, something that fits kind of my play style. I ended up playing in like every single Gym Leader Challenge official event, even though I didn't think that Friday was going to happen. I ended up playing in a pod Saturday morning before the official Gym Leader Challenge event, and then we had kind of our grassroots Cardboard Warriors Battle City style. Like, we were all just in a hotel lobby jamming like official tournament games. It was kind of cool, and we get to talk about that coming up. So it was just like a good old time. Besides that, I got to bring a couple of my locals with me. They got to stay in my hotel room with me. One of them we'll talk about went 6-0 with Hitmon Bros through the first two, the Friday and Saturday's event. So just like 3-0'd both of those. We're going to talk about that list coming up here. Was my buddy Justice, who I've had on stream with me as well. And then we had Pandatar as well, who was playing his Rhyperior list in the CBW tournament. So that was kind of cool too. So that a couple of my locals show up and play with us. What I will say, we showed up. Cardboard Warriors people did show up. And then on top of all that, man, the Athens crew. I got to give a shout out to all the Athens GLC gamers. That Friday night event, there were 30 of us. Half of them were from Athens. And then like the entire weekend, I just kept seeing GLC people from Athens just like showing up, showing out, playing awesome, sweet decks. I mean, it was just cool to see. So, but the experience was great overall. I got to meet a ton of people that I hadn't got to see in person. I've talked to online, or at least over webcam. Logan was one of them. Got to finally meet him. Gave him a big old hug. By the way, we got to get more camera views of Logan's pants. Logan was like full on decked out Gengar pants one day. I can't remember what the other pants were, but he was like head to toe Pokemon drip. I know you're a Poke Drip connoisseur, Josh, so like you would respect this. But man, I wish we could get pictures of Logan's drip. It was so good. And then of course we got to meet Eric Weeder, the king of Cardboard Warriors. He was there for Friday and Saturday, so I got to see him and play with him in a couple events and meet him, besides a lot of other cool people too. Too many people to name. But it was a really enjoyable weekend. And again, if you haven't had a chance to play Gym Leader Challenge in a regional, please do it. It's fun. It's awesome. A little bit more rule sharky, Josh, than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah. I get it. It's like this might be like the most official Gym Leader Challenge event that people will play in. But I rolled up with like, I had the official dice, but I'm not really thinking about that ever. I have like these kind of big dice that I use on my stream. So I was like playing against an opponent playing Egg Mill, and I just like rolled for timer ball, and I got heads tails with like kind of my big chunky dice that are very visible to see on stream. And he like picked them up and like looked at them, and I was like, "Is there a problem?" He's like, "Well, they're supposed to be translucent." And I was like, "I mean, I got some if you need me to re-roll it," but he was like, "Fine." But like that was a situation. I had a couple of I heard other like kind of rule sharky stuff, mostly from the Sunday event. So I guess people that were kind of in like standard regional mode probably came out Sunday and were kind of expecting something bigger. But I always just felt like Gym Leader Challenge was a lot more casual. So it was a little, I don't know, strange to see that on Sunday. But again, I get it. That's maybe the way regional GLC events should be.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, I'm just going to say all that sounded like a blast. Like everything that you mentioned, it sounded like a complete blast. Just GLC for an entire weekend sounds awesome, but also at the same time, it feels absolutely draining.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure.
I love me a good 3 to 4 rounds, and then I'm good for 48 hours, and then maybe 2 rounds after that. Yeah. But whenever you get to those big events and you don't get to do it that often, you're just cramming it all in one, and then you're either after the event, you're either gung ho for GLC, or you're like, I'm not going to play for 3 months.
and to be fair, like you guys know me, I love Gym Leader Challenge. It's my favorite Pokemon format, my favorite TCG format at the moment. So like, but after all that, man, I was worn out. Saturday night, Justice and I, and my roommate, and you guys see on stream, we were kind of like burnt out, and there was like a chance to maybe play a pod or like go out to eat instead. We 100% went out to eat, and then we showed out on the eat. We ate at the Hard Rock right next to our hotel. We were at the Westin, and then we rolled up to, if you guys have ever had a chance, in Atlanta, not sponsored by them whatsoever, but there's a milkshake place called The Yard. All right, which is bringing back just memories of that song in the early thousands. But man, yeah. Delicious milkshakes, expensive to say the least, but delicious milkshakes. I couldn't even finish mine. Justice finished all of his. I was so impressed by Justice's ability to demolish that milkshake. But that milkshake might have been the highlight of the weekend. So if you get a chance, go check it out. That might have been the only time that I went 3-0 was with that milkshake. And I paid $30 for it.
For real?
No, it was closer to like 20, but yes, it was an expensive milkshake.
Bro, still 20 is
nuts. I'm going to be honest.
What flavor?
So I got Brookie. It was like a brownie cookie mix. So it was like Brookie Blast or something like that. It had a fancier name than what I'm saying it, but like they came in like little souvenir mason jars, which, Josh, I'm assuming you're a mason jar guy. I mean, I just feel like you've got like kombucha, like homemade kombucha in a mason jar somewhere in your home. So I feel like you would be there.
I've wanted to do that so much, but it just involves it involves immersing yourself in the culture, no pun intended, because you have to get a starter. You got to have everything right. You got to stick it in. You got to stick it out of sight. And when things are out of sight, they're out of mind with me. So I want to forget about that thing. But I've been wanting to do that for a long time. So you hit the nail right on the head right there.
So there we go. Stereotyping sometimes works, chat. But the mason jars were great. While we were eating cookies, of course, and brownies and milkshakes and all of this stuff, like so many Pokemon players were in there too, because it was on the way from like the venue to some of the hotels nearby. Yeah. So like people would like stop by and be like, "How'd you guys do?" Because I guess we just looked like people that played Pokemon. So people were bragging about, yeah, it's our bro's first time day 2ing. And so it was kind of like a mini Pokemon celebration within this milkshake shop. So it was just a good time. Like, and like on the way in the morning, like everyone's got their little backpacks on. We're like hiking up the little hill. We're walking through Centennial Olympic Park, where this little Ferris wheel on the screen is. It was just great. It was like pure Pokemon culture. Now, what I will say, this was the worst part of the weekend, and I cannot believe that Gaming Gen did this. So at Charlotte, when I went, they gave you like little badges, and I don't know about San Antonio, Josh. When you got there, like, what was your way to get in through the gate? Did they give you guys badges, or did they give you the wristbands?
Wristbands.
So they gave us wristbands in Atlanta, and they were like, yeah, this is for all 3 days. And TCG players are already notorious for not showering during large events. And now you're like, hey, you've got to keep this tiny piece of paper on your wrist for 3 days. And I told the person straight up, I was like, this is awful. Like, you're just literally telling us not to shower if we want to keep these things. So I was secretly going around and like, if I saw someone's like look like uncrimped and like perfectly orange, I was like, did you shower last night, bro? Like, come on, dude. Come on. This is like a visual reminder. Like, let's not be around that person. So Gaming Gen,
shower like this.
Yeah. If you're listening, dude, you got to do something about those wristbands. Like, come on, man. Come on. We got to fix that.
Hey, I think there were, I had a friend tell me, cause that was a topic of discussion in our group too, was the wristbands. And I would love the badges. I think maybe in Arlington we had badges or something like that, or maybe just a tougher type of band that worked, and it wasn't like easily washable. But these were like flimsy. They're like a single use, not going to work that well bands. You got yours right there?
Yeah. So the Charlotte one's hanging up in my room. It's just like super sweet. It's like it came with like a lanyard, and it's just like the badge, and it says Charlotte on it. So like you've got like a keepsake. Yeah. Like, this is like legit. And then on the back, it's even got like a QR code to like scan the schedule and like the hours of the event and the next couple of like regionals. Like, this is what I want. Give me this. But, and I'm not one to complain because I do get the cost factor between a wristband and this. Like, I mean, it's got to be a decent amount. But like this is what I want. This is the keepsake that I want when I'm leaving a regional, especially if I'm just there for side events.
Yeah. And also Gaming Gen, what I don't like about Gaming Gen was that the tournaments are now like capped at 3 rounds, and you don't get to play like back in San Antonio last year and Arlington the year prior. I think we got 5 rounds in Arlington, just 4 rounds the year at San Antonio. But I was like, yeah, expecting to have 5 to 4 rounds, and then I read 3 rounds of Swiss, and I was like, oh man, ain't nobody gonna actually know if they're doing well or not. You can go 3-0, but you might lose the next 2 if we actually had 5.
Yeah,
which it kind of sucks to think about that, but at least you went 3-0. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like the 3 rounds. I might be in the minority in this, but like I do want to be like, hey, I'm gonna play this. I think they had 40-minute rounds. Like, I'm gonna be here for an hour and a half, and then I can move on to the next thing. Now, whether or not the events start on time, whether or not the events are in a location that's near where you're at, because like we had a situation where we had especially the Saturday event, we had to walk from like one side of the venue all the way to the other side of the venue, like, and no one knew like where the events were going to take place. So like that was an issue I had too, but I think 3 rounds is nice. You know where you're at, but what I kind of want though is like I want Friday and Sunday to be like that. Friday, you got people coming to the event, probably just doing it as something before they do the standard event. Sunday, you that people that kind of like, didn't make it through the big event who just want to do an extra side event, and GLC is the thing. But like the people that are there on Saturday that are playing GLC that are not in the big event, like those are your diehard GLC players. So maybe having like the longer run tournament on Saturday makes a lot of sense. But again, I think we only had like 20 or 30 people on that day though, so it probably would have ended up being like a 3 or 4 round event regardless. So I don't know. There's a lot that could go into this. Needless to say, everyone who's doing that's like basically like volunteers are getting paid very little. So like I have no qualms with the people who are there or working the event or doing what they're supposed to do. But from like an organizational standpoint, there's some things that you think can be done differently. But it's not for us. It's for the big standard players. It's for the people playing in the bigger events and the VGC and the Pokemon Go. So I'm okay with that. I'm happy that we have it, and I'm happy that Gym Leader Challenge gets a little bit of recognition. And maybe I'm too easy to please, Josh. And maybe I should be screaming louder about about other things. But I'll leave that to you guys.
I think there's bigger fish to fry. So
I'm vegetarian, so
I mean, I think there's bigger tofu to fry.
Now you're speaking my language, baby.
What's your favorite taco, and why is it tofu?
It's not. It's beans. Give me the beans. All right. Well, hey,
that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was absolutely a blast. And the coolest thing was, we saw this at Baltimore, and Logan and I kind of got together and we were like, what can we do because like it's really cool to see when Cardboard Warriors like gets together and like host a tournament IRL. And we saw that in Baltimore, 50 people showed out. There wasn't a Friday event in Baltimore. And so that's the reason why that needed to come out of necessity. And we were kind of just like these diehard GLCers that are coming to Atlanta are like people that we've like seen to and chatted to online or seen their deck list up. Like, how can we get together and like maybe like still a casual way, but like maybe like a competitive nature too. And so like Logan and I were like, let's do a Friday night event, because some people can't make the Friday day event either. Let's do a Friday night event. And so we kind of had like this grassroots tournament that we ran through the Cardboard Warriors Discord. And we had to cap it at 30 people because Logan and I did not see the venue ahead of time. It was at Logan's Hotel, Reverb. Shout out to Reverb. We had never seen it before. We were kind of going into it blind. We didn't know what it would look like, but Logan had called ahead and been like, "Can you guys fit like 30 people?" And they're like, yeah, we got you. It'll look fine. People do this all the time. So we like showed up, and it wasn't what I was expected, but it worked. So we had 30 people playing in kind of like a casual, semi-competitive event. Like, people brought good decks, and we had some really good players there. So it felt really, really competitive in nature, but we were also just having a good time when we were doing it. And basically what we did was we just kind of like, we ran it through Limitless. Thank goodness Limitless exists. People would find their pairings on the phone, and it was like Battle City style, baby. You found your opponent, and then you went and found a spot. We had people playing on kind of like cushions on the floor. We had people playing at like tiny 2 cafe style seats. We had a couple of nice seats. That's where I got to sit the entire time because I set up a stream camera. So I was like, I got to watch that. So I got to get myself a little bit of luxury during all of this. But then we had people play on like this really, like basically like a 2x4 kind of bar style table where like one person's play mat was like adjacent to the other person's play mat. And they were like kind of playing like cat a corner to each other. So it was kind of fun to see like what people did and like how it worked out. But we got the results from that. That's kind of the cool thing about this is if we do these sorts of tournaments, we actually get results and deck lists, and we kind of know like who was piloting them. And that's what I loved about it. And so hopefully other people, maybe we'll do this at other places. I know Milwaukee is coming up. I don't know if anyone from CBW or someone who's like an organizer is doing that, but it would be cool to see these kind of more grassroots things show up. I know that a lot of the event organizers hate it when like third party events are scheduled at the event. So we made sure to do ours somewhere else. But it worked out well. So we got the couple lists here to talk about. Josh, you ready?
I'm ready to do this.
All right. First list was our runner-up. And I say runner-up. We had 2 4-0s. And we did offer both 4-0s to kind of like have like a 5th round. But, I mean, we were, again, at a hotel bar at like 11 o'clock at night. And they were like, we're good. So first one up is Matthew McCoig. From Canada, dude. Came from Canada all the way down to to Atlanta to play in this. And I saw him Friday, and I saw him on Sunday event too. I don't know if he tried his shot at the Saturday event or not, but he played a really sweet medal list here that's up on screen. You got all the usual suspects, Rever Room and Bronzong. But it's a Matangless list, so it's a little bit more turbo. It's got Iron Crown, Zamazenta, Dialga, Heatran, Cabalia, and of course Jirachi for consistency. But man, I was playing spread, and the top 2 lists that we're going to see here felt like they teched for me, dude. Like, it felt like they knew that I was going to be there. They were like, let's stop Baisch. So, like, Sky Pillar is in this deck. Like, that's insane. Like, what metal list is running Sky Pillar?
That's what I was like, what? I was like, I can't remember what Sky Pillar does, so I looked it up, and I was like, it's just anti-spread.
Exactly.
It's just like, let's not let them spread at all.
They just didn't like me, man. We're going to see it in this list, and we're going to see it in the next list. The next list I actually got to play. But, like, Metal's already got, like, a great matchup in the spread. I mean, you've got all these, like, HP buff and, like, damage reduction tools, Metal Frying Pan, Cape of what's the Cape one? That's whatever. It's the plus 50 HP, Cape of Toughness. So like, it's already good in the spread, and then you're like, I've also got Sky Pillar, baby. So this list was really cool to see. Went 4-0. Matthew's a great pilot, so I was talking with him about GLC all weekend and just picking his brain about a couple of things. But man, this list was really cool, and it was really cool to see Metal doing well.
Yeah, it seems like really low profile. You got both Kaballion and Iron Crown, like Iron Crown for the early game, Kaballion for the late game. So very both low cost attackers that you can get going real quick, especially, with a Raihan attach, or a Crispin can actually help out a little bit too if you have, already a metal energy in your hand to be able to attach along with the attachment you get with Crispin. Or yeah, Crispin. But yeah, it's a super responsive deck, especially for like late game. You got Zamazenta, you got Cobalion, you got easy ways to get Heatran going pretty quickly again. And then while you're doing that, you can just use your Bronzong to kind of slowly build up your guys at the bottom again. So if you want to get Dialga going and hitting big, you can just throw on an extra attachment to him every turn, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, it's really nice and like semi-tanky with your, what you mentioned, the Cape of Toughness, the metal goggles, the frying pan. I love those, especially the frying pan and metal goggles. I love those cards so much, especially in metal. Like if they had those cards with anything else, like Tanky Water would be insane as well. Like, because it also comes with that effect. I know, but it comes with that effect where like, yeah, this doesn't have any takes weakness away and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. But yeah, did you talk with Matthew about how like the decision on Sky Pillar over Crystal Cave instead of healing, just preventing the damage?
I actually didn't get a chance to talk about him because I didn't actually get a chance to see his list till like after the fact. But man, yeah, I couldn't imagine Crystal Cave versus Sky Pillar 2. I kind of like that, but I guess, I don't know, maybe you just need like to prevent that one turn, really, right? Like, especially if you're expecting someone to play Hitmonbros, which is what everyone knew I was going to be playing in it.
Yeah.
If you're expecting me to play Hitmonbros, you just need to stop kind of that 90 snipe on turn 2, or if you can stop the 60 everywhere from Hitmontop, you just need it to stick for one turn. So maybe the prevention in that case is better than just the straight heal, and it won't matter much in the other matchups either. And the decks that you're looking to prevent from spreading aren't the most consistent, right? Like Lightning Spread is not the most consistent deck at finding what it needs to do every single turn, and neither is Hitmonbros if you're thinking about it. So Metal can fight in there with the best of them, and already you just got such a good matchup. So it's just kind of that extra bit of security, and it just sounds like these people listen to the pod. Always play your bench barrier is what I always say, and then when you can't play your bench barrier, play Sky Pillar. So I can't even be mad that people are maybe just listening to my advice, even to my
Dude, everybody has a bench barrier with Sky Pillar.
Oh, it's universal perfect. Bench barrier, baby. That's that UB.
It's so helpful.
But yeah, shout out to Matthew. Congrats on the 4-0. Again, runner up, but tied for first is really what we should say. And then we got, our champion, but again, another 4-0 here, Bradley Dalton. And this list is kind of cool, Josh. So Brad went 3-0 during the Friday event, and then showed up and went 4-0 in the CBW event later that evening. But he made one change from his deck list. Just one change.
From Friday to Friday night?
Yeah, from Friday day to Friday night. It was that he put in Bench Barrier Mew. He put in Bench Barrier Mew. These people just hating me, man. Just hating me. So Brad went 4-0. I got a chance to play Brad. We were both 2-0 going into the third round. And you'll look at his list here and you'll just be like, Baisch, there was no way that you could win. So it's a Lake Trio list, but in like a traditional Psychics spread shell. Of course, you've got Kofragigas, which is like the new hotness. 1 energy does 6 damage counters to any Pokemon with an ability. And then you're pairing that with like Monkey Dory, which lets you kind of use that collateral damage that you do unto yourself to kind of pitch damage counters to your opponent's Pokemon. You've got Uxie, you've got Blacephalon, you've just got good consistency with Gallade and Xatu. And then, of course, you've got, I think I said that new Uxie, but you got Azelf that spreads too. And then the new Mesprit, which is just like that Lake Trio that I think does damage if all the other ones are on the bench.
Sort
it's
of like
deal.
that wall breaker for the big guys.
So this list was just like impossible for me to beat. Bench Barrier, Resistance, Monkey Dory, chipping damage at my dudes. So like I mulliganed like 6 or 7 times against Brad. So he already had like this huge advantage. Went Crispin on Monkey Dory on turn 1. Monkey Dory hit 60, but all my Pokemon are weak. So like from turn 1, he was KOing everything I put out. Plus he had bench bear. It even got to a point where he like mysterious treasured away Mew. And I just felt like it was like he was just rubbing it in my face. Like, I don't even need bench barrier, bro. And he did rescue stretcher it back and put it back on his bench. So there was at least that, but I ended up scooping kind of early in that matchup after I saw the writing on the wall. But this deck was mean. It was good. It was strong. And Brad went 7-0 on Friday, showed himself to be a really, really good pilot of the deck. So kudos, shout out to Brad. It was lovely spending time with him too. You can see him over there, the picture I added of him winning his Squirtle from the prize wall. So, I mean, shout out to Brad. This deck was awesome, and it was cool to see him pilot, and it was cool to meet him as well.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, this is just the natural enemy to you. This deck in and of itself is just the natural enemy to you.
I mean,
I thought it was cool.
I feel very, like, flattered. Like, again, I don't know if, like, they knew I was playing fighting because I kind of let everyone know, like, in advance I was going to be playing fighting. So, like, I don't know if they, like, teched specifically for me. But, like, if they did, like, I'm not that good of a player. But, like, just, like, for them to even consider me as a threat, like, thank you. But it was cool to see their decks. And I would have lost to both of them. I only got a chance to play Brad. I didn't get a chance to play Matthew. I would have lost to both of them, regardless of what was happening. So, but cool to see these two decks that you kind of don't see too often show up in the limelight, do well in a tournament like this. So shout out to Metal. Shout out to this Psychic list. Good work.
Yeah, I mean, everything is so low. I mean, it's just one energy attachment for Uxie and is it Azelf?
Yep.
Yeah, Uxie and Azelf just doing their low energy attack. Cuffergrigus also doing the same thing with its low energy attack. And then really, I mean, Xatu is not there necessarily for that extra attachment because you don't really have to worry about the extra. It's just there for a little extra draw power if needed.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
That extra attachment though can be so clutch when you're playing Monkey Dory, right? Like sometimes you just have the dark, or like you have Professor's Letter, you get dark and psychic, and now you can attach to your spreader, and then you have that dark energy to attach to Monkey manually, and then you can just start shooting off damage counters. I think this list is not running. It's not running Rainbow, and it's not running Frozen City, which are two cards that you sometimes see run with Monkey Dory. So the only way to kind of damage your own mons is to be damaged by your opponent or to Cofragigas. So a lot of faith in being able to pull that off. But I mean, the Psychic, it can do whatever it wants to whenever it needs to.
Oh yeah. I thought it was pretty cool to see that do well.
Same. Shout out to Brad for winning. Now, this third place list, and I think we've talked about him before. This is Tyler Matthews. And if you know anything about the Baltimore event that happened, Tyler Matthews won it all with his Lost Circle deck. He was playing the Dust Noir with the Cursed Blast, and he was playing Lost Zone Sableye deck. So this is Tyler Matthews. A lot of people probably know him as Subi. Ertztube is, I think, his name in the Discords, if you've seen him around. Amazing player. I think just top 8-aided an event somewhere. I can't remember where he top 8'd an event, but with like some Joltik deck in Standard that was apparently like blowing everyone's mind to pot. So Tyler Matthews is an amazing player. And so Tyler Matthews brought Dragobox to play. And we've seen this deck do really well. We saw Spence top 8 with it at the Full Grip Games 1K. No Kirim in this list, but a lot of the other pieces are there. Big, strong, basic dragons, DDE, a lot of basic energy, and then, of course, you've got like maybe like the one draw supporter in Marnie, and then everything else is just search or recovery. So really cool to see this list do well. I think Tyler did a lot of donking in this tournament. I can't remember whose Tyler's loss was to, but I mean, he played it really well on the day. So, kudos to Tyler for this list.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I always like decks that are like low profile with minimal Pokemon and just not a whole lot going on that you really have to think about. You're just like, okay, this is what I have. These are the only things I've got to do. So I've got to do them, and that's like attach, use Regidrago's ability to be able to draw some, and then whatever you have in your hand, you just do it. If you can Reshiram, accelerate fire energy, you can do it. But it's crazy that this deck actually has seen so much success because whenever I look at it, I'm like, man, how is it doing what it's doing? You know? And I just think that whenever there is a deck that you see do that, like how does it doing what it's doing, but it does it, it's just really cool. I always enjoy seeing that.
Yeah. And I'm not
still
surprised
play
at all.
my Dragonite though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still gonna play Garchomp. I mean, I think Garchomp is the best dragon ever. Like I'd probably squeeze him into a list like this, but like when you look at what is doing really well right now in Gym Leader Challenge in general, it's just that snipe to the bench, dude. That snipe to the bench is killer to so many setup
the Raging
decks.
Bolt.
I think it's Raging Bolt, dude. Because like Dragon was like so mid before Raging Bolt got printed, right? Like you could argue Culver's Tenacity was also a huge buff, but man, having the ability to go after your opponent's support Pokemon is just the greatest thing that you can do in Gym Leader Challenge. It's so much easier to search up a Pokemon than it is to search up a boss's order, like boss and have a charged up attacker. With Raging Bolt, all you need is DDE, like off of one Goose Hala, you are sniping the bench. So I think Raging Bolt is like a huge like upgrade for these Dragon archetypes. You know, obviously you've realized that Snipe plus Lost City really work well together. I mean, like if you can take care of a Sabo on turn 2 with Lost City and Raging Bolt, like you're doing good things. They're gonna make your opponent not be able to play the game. So there's that, and you know we're gonna talk about some bannings in a bit. We won't talk too long on that, but one of the cards that kind of came up was like, should DDE still be around? And I got told that there might be a little bit of confirmation bias, but I feel like Dragon pretty consistently can Raging Bolt you very early and kind of stall other game plans out because of DDE. So DDE plus Raging Bolt to a certain degree. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep tabs on this deck, but I think this deck is a lot stronger than I initially thought it was. And I think that there are going to be a lot of variations on this list that are going to continue to be well, even if some other decks take a step back. So shout out to Tyler Matthews for the 3-1. This deck is sick.
Oh yeah, very good. And I agree with you. Raging Bolt is the thing that changed whenever it started to go on the up and up.
Facts. I love that this list, I didn't mention it before, I love that this list is just because to play Volkner too, right? Like you're playing Lightning Energy now because of Raging Bolt.
I don't know why I didn't mention that. Yeah, exactly.
So you get to play Volkner. Like this deck is just literally search and energy accelerate. Like when your deck is just trying to do two things and you don't have to worry about like managing so many lines, like it's just busted. So I like how you mentioned it too, streamlined. It's just doing two things: energy acceleration, searching cards from the deck.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then you got your deck, Jeff, because you did really well in this tournament yourself. You got 4th place out of 30, and I'm excited to hear what you got to say about Ninja Boy.
Oh yeah. Finally, I did a chat. We won with Ninja Boy. I've done it before. I love Ninja Boy so much. Ninja Boy MVP, by the way. Like people keep hating on me about Ninja Boy. Maybe not hate's the wrong word, Josh, and maybe I bring it on myself because I talk about Ninja Boy so much. But man, Ninja Boy's so good. Like, especially in this style of deck. And like Hawlucha is just so good. And being able to reuse Hawlucha with Ninja Boy is just like the greatest thing that you can do. Put it back in your deck, quick ball it back out, do it again. Like I've won so many games because I just got to like Hawlucha ping multiple times, whether it's KO'd and I've recovered it from the discard pile, whether I've shuffled it back into my deck. I mean, sometimes I search out with Brooklet Hill just so I can scoop it up and do it again. I mean, it's just so fun to see. So
yeah,
that's kind of like all I really wanted to do was like, how can I put Ninja Boy on display? And that's what this deck is all about. I even had some really cool, like, you like attach turn 1 if you can't attack, and then you can like Ninja Boy it into Okidogi and then attach the special energy. That's just like so many cool things. Like Ninja Boy lives up to his name. Like your opponent is not expecting Okidogi to be fully charged and punching you in the face after you've attached to Hawlucha in the active because they think you're going to retreat, right? So like there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Ninja Boy. And it won me, especially my last game. I had Hitmonchan with Strong Energy and a Muscle Band, which are 2 cards that you want to have on Hitmonchan, but they can get uses in other places. So I just Ninja Boy'd that Hitmonchan back into my deck. Now Hitmontop is hitting 100 to the active and 60 to the bench. I was able to take like 3 KOs because I was able to KO the active in that instance. So again, wow. Ninja Boy just like opens up some lines of play that just weren't there before, reusing those damage buffs, getting Okie Dokie out. You can even like get Riolu and evolve into Lucario if you have it in the hand, because it treats that Pokemon as having been in turn already. So a lot of cool things you can do with Ninja Boy. And it showed its stuff. So, I went 3-1 on the night. My only loss was to that terrible Psychic deck that still gives me nightmares to this day. But we ended up, I played Lightning Spread the first round, which I'm going to be honest, weakness makes that kind of like an easy peasy. Like, so that game's really easy. I hate to say it, but it was really easy. Hitmonchan taking knockouts just like is over and done with. So there was that. Round 2, I played another Psychic deck, and that came down to like the wire. Like, I was ahead by so much, and then I had to like basically play into like a Devo. Like, my only outs like winning the game was like I had to like survive a couple turns, make damage counter math work, and then Devo the 2 stage 2s that were on the board so that I could get that last 2 prizes after falling back to a 2-1 prize race. So we were able to kind of sneak that one out. We dodged some hand disruption at the end. Our deck was thin. I think we could have gotten there, but we definitely had Devo in our hand, and we were like playing towards it for a number of turns there. So really, really close call. It was a Psychic Take-a-Ton list. Round 3 was against Brad. I just got steamrolled. I think that one's on stream too. I was like, yeah, this is the one we're going to put on stream. And like 4 turns in, I'm like, you got it. So I think you can watch that on my Twitch channel if you want to. And then the 4th round was the Fighting Mirror. And it was a really interesting list. It was like, it was hard to explain exactly what it is, because it had like spread elements. It had Blood Moon Ursaluna. It had the Minior that when you attach an energy to it, you can move it to the active, and then it does more damage based on retreat cost. So it can like 1-hit KO Snorlax with just 1 energy attachment. But then my opponent was also playing like Galar Mine to like increase, I think like your retreat cost and all of that. And then like to kind of stall for a couple turns. And that was like the toughest back and forth match of the night. The hardest matchup for fighting is fighting, because like they have Machoke 2, right? So like you're fighting this bench barrier battle. So that one came down to the wire too. And that's where the Ninja Boy into the Hitmontop with the 2 damage buffs really came into play, because I was able to take care of the Blood Moon Ursaluna that was in the active, and then also KO some Pokemon on the boards to kind of take like a 3 prize turn and kind of shift things back into my favor to kind of win and get the 3-1. So, I mean, this deck is sweet. I've been playing, Hitmon Bros for forever. It's still one of my favorite decks, if not my favorite. And this list has not changed much. I would say if you've been following my list, the biggest change I made recently is I finally caved. I'm playing Training Court. That card actually puts in a ton of work, because no matter what your opponents do, they want to keep it around for some reason. Like, they're just giving you Training Court. They don't want to field blower it because they think they're getting use out of it too. But like, no, they're not getting as good a use out of it as your deck is. So like, I'm just sitting here like, I like literally can like combo with like 1 energy, because my opponent's just letting me keep Training Court for some reason. Bump it, chat. Come on, get it out of there. So that's one of the cards that kind of snuck its way into my list after I play tested it, and after I saw it being included in a lot of the other lists around town too. I'm still a big fan of Birdkeeper over something like Tate and Liza. I tried Surfer for a bit. Birdkeeper's better by a mile. And I'm still playing Stadium Nav. I know some people are playing like Colress Tenacity instead. I think it could be either or, but just having like an item card that can search you up Silent Lab when you need it was kind of important. You can grab it off like Karina or Arvin or Teammates if you need to. So I still like Stadium Nav, but I could see it going Colress Tenacity now, especially now that the special energy. So those are a couple changes I would make, but man, love this list. I think we had Ben on a couple weeks ago, and Ben was like, you can see where your bling level like line is, like how much you're willing to spend. I think you can see that with my list here too. Like I have like Cynthia and Caitlin aren't full arts yet. I think that's like where you get into like the $60 and $70. Like you can see that maybe like the most expensive full art supporter
Cynthia's
I have
up to 180 now.
Oh God. Oh goodness. So I think like
Cynthia and Caitlin's up to 150, 180. It's crazy, dude.
What's the N up to? Because it's in Cynthia and Caitlin are the 3 that I don't have full order from the
helping hand in is around 50 to 70,
Okay.
depending on the condition, which isn't bad.
No,
And
not
then
bad at all.
the other end where he's like, this one is
Sexy in.
I
Sexy
think
in.
around 100, 120 maybe.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So anyway, that's my bling level. You can tell it. I get asked a lot why this Riolu. I switched to this Riolu because it had 20 damage for 1 energy, so you could like off a Goose Hala donk with it potentially. I think it's less good now because everyone's running 70 HP basics. So maybe I'd switch to a 70 HP 1 retreat Riolu now. Besides that, like the list is good. Like everyone should be playing Ninja Boy, and it's a fact.
Do you not play Hex Maniac because of Okidogi's ability?
No, you don't play Hex Maniac because this deck can never really afford to do something like that. Like top decking Hex Maniac in like certain stages of the game is just like the worst, right? It's like the equivalent of like, you know, basically top decking like Battle VIP Pass in a deck like this, right? Like you just can't really afford it. So you need like a lot of cards that are like either search specific, can either like pivot you into the next combo piece that can recover your combo pieces, or that like, you know, I think I maybe said this already, effect draw. Effect draw is the biggest thing you can do. So like Cynthia and Caitlin, huge. Birdkeeper, huge. Like you want 2 effects there. So that's one of the reasons like you just can't Hex Maniac. You need it to do more. If Hex Maniac was like abilities plus draw 3, you'd play it 100%. But you just can't afford like in the early turns to be like, here's Hex Maniac. Like Lusamine already feels bad, and Lusamine like you have to play because you need to get Silent Lab back because you do have 2 important turns of spread. So if that Silent Lab does get bumped, you at least need an out to potentially get there.
Yeah, if a Claydol was an option, would
100%
be an option?
100% you'd play
Okay.
Claydol.
All right.
Or you play a Hex Maniac. Again, it doesn't play nice with a couple of different things. Like it doesn't play nice with Okidogi, and it doesn't play nice with Muscle or Crisis Muscle's Machamp. So like obviously you'd have to pick and choose, but like being able to store it on the bottom of your deck with Claydol is like an incentive to play it, right? You also can play like less effects. Like maybe Tate and Liza could be a better option than if you had onboard draw, but you just always need an effect plus draw in this deck. So there's that. Anyway,
I wonder if we'll ever get Celebrations cards accepted into the format.
I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it 1,000 times. The second that Claydol becomes legal, fighting is like almost instantly best deck in the format, and like it's gonna be heinous. Like it's already like 1 energy, huge attackers punch you in the face. It's got great stage 2s that can't be played because consistency is an issue. It's got the no evolving Archeops that no one wants to see played, that, you know, has restore fossil, so you could like Claydol it to the bottom and then like restore it onto the bench and do all like these things. Like, no, please don't bring back Claydol. Just get good at not having to draw cards. And that's what I've just done with fighting. And I think what a lot of fighting players have done is just get good at not needing to draw cards. And then every now and then you'll lose to a Marnie. Every now and then you'll lose to Judge. We used to lose to Marshadows all the time. So like get used to that maybe happening every now and then. But you know, that's the fighting player in me. You're gonna lose because you can't draw cards, but like if we could draw cards, everyone's life would be over. Like Lightning has fighting weakness, Colorless has fighting weakness, Dark has fighting weakness. No, just don't give us drawing.
Yeah.
Don't give us any draw cards.
Undisputed BDIF, if that were the case.
Exactly. Cool. That was the event.
Oh yeah.
There were some other top 8 decks, and I'll just real quickly talk about them. You know, Weeder played Leviathan, which is like water control, like Wailord control. I think he got 5th. There were 2 other water decks that were in the top 8. Both of them were Athens players. And then a player that I have a lot of respect for, Yu Pazu, whose colorless spread deck I've been jamming all over the place, played Lost Zone Psychic and squeezed into top 8 with that. So there was a good spread of lists throughout the night. We saw Fairy, we saw Rhyperior Fighting. I think, Status Condition Grass at some point over the weekend. It was just cool. There was Fire, there was Dragon, like everything was on display at this event, and it was kind of cool to see. what came out on top and what people just wanted to play.
Yeah, it's so cool. And not to get off topic, but like it's so cool to see everybody's different decks. Like, because sometimes you go to a place like that expecting to hit, or even, I don't even know how FGG was up at Full Grip Games whenever they had their 1K that last time. But it's so cool to see all these different decks. And a lot of the times you expect to see the most meta of decks. And they're not. It's just what people like to play. It's what people feel most comfortable playing, or just wanting to like bring in a rogue deck, such as you could call Ninja Boy kind of rogue, because no matter how much you talk about it, you're always going to take somebody by surprise. And any GLC deck can take the cake if it's just doing exactly what it's supposed to do and surprising people with what it can do, and just taking its KOs, and you're taking your prizes. But it is so cool to see all these different decks at these events.
Yeah. And I will say, I think most people were kind of like preparing for DCE and Twin to be on their way out. We know now it's past the deadline, right? But at the time, this was April, 10th or 11th. I can't remember exactly what day it was for that Friday. But, it was still legal, but people were just kind of like, let's prepare for life after it. The only person that brought colorless, there's only one colorless player out of all the 30 players that played in the event. One colorless player, and his Discord username is the Snorlax Agenda. So you know what? If anyone gets the right to play DC and Twin Energy one last time, it's that person. So shout out to Snorlax Agenda playing colorless for maybe the last time and what we all know it as.
Yeah, recently, just because you brought that up, it kind of reminded me of this last league challenge that we had before rotation happened for Standard. I went and played in it, and I was like, okay, this will be the last one. I'll go play in it, play my favorite deck. It was Miraidon, so there's a bunch of different cool things you can do with Lightning-type Pokemon in that deck. And I didn't get the memo, but I think everybody was playing mostly post-rotation decks. And I was bringing in my pre-rotation deck and just smoking everybody. It was so funny. I was like, "Oh, sorry guys.
Let's kill Josh.
I got my 5 play packs now."
The play packs. That was the thing. I will say there was prizing at this event. Weeder brought a couple of like rare Japanese only printings. I think from the new expanded battle set or whatever it was called. I'm so bad at these set names. So there was like an escape rope and a Cynthia that were like really cool arts and something like that, and a couple bucks here and there. So the top 4 did get a card and stuff like that. So shout out to Weeder for helping out with prizing. My boy Pandatar, Nikki from my locals, had a whole bunch of like, he had like a Rainbow Avery and some other GLC staples that were kind of like upper tier GLC staples, not like break the bank kind of cards, but he had like probably like 15, 20 cards that he was like, just pass them out to people. So like it was just so fun. And like this event was like the best of the Gym Leader Challenge community on display. Like you had everyone just playing their favorite decks, but at a high level. You had people chipping in. You had people being flexible with the event venue space. I was running around like the event, if my game's in it early, I was like, 2 minutes left, guys, 2 minutes left, like trying to organize people all over this, hotel lobby. So like, it was everything you'd want from a Gym Leader Challenge grassroots event. And I loved every second of it. And if I could only play in 30 people events in hotel lobbies, I might, because that's how great it was.
All right, which hotel we showing up to today? Hey, we got the quick attack segment coming up.
This is probably my favorite segment. I know we've only done it once, Josh, but when we did it, I was like, yeah. I love PTI. If you guys don't know, pardon the interruption. This feels like Gym Leader Challenge, pardon the interruption.
Oh yeah, we could have a show on this, just one giant quick attack episode, and just have 20 different people on there. That'd be nuts.
What's the other? There's like another ESPN show where they have like the 4 different sports writers and they like award them random points that don't really matter. But that would also be something to consider. But anyway, we talked too much.
Yeah, that could be totally something else.
Let's get into quick attack. And Josh, I'm going to shoot it to you. DCE Twin Ban. What are your thoughts?
All right, we got the Twin and the DCE ban that just happened. My thoughts on it is I looked through all of my decks and I noticed that I played double colorless and twin in two of them and decided I wasn't very affected. Sorry for those that are, but now GLC is a little bit more. Now you have the opportunity to be a little bit more creative, and it's just adapt or the other, Jeff, to you.
Yeah, so I'm very pleased with the ban. I've been an advocate of this for a while. I always thought that we would get one or the other, not both, but both makes a lot of sense. I'm going to be very happy to not lose to just attach to Snorlax. I'm going to be able to have some strategy and gameplay involved in a lot of these matchups against Colorless. I think Colorless goes from being kind of like a boogeyman to like a really interesting type, and I think that's what I'm really excited to see is what does Colorless look like, and I'm actually excited to play it for the first time since the format's inception.
Ooh, spread. I don't think, Jeff, with the decks that we're going to go over now and the deck that you went with, I don't think spread is dead. I think spread still has a lot of life in it. We've been seeing the lightning spread do pretty decently, fighting spread do pretty decently, amongst other psychic different spread lists do really well at some big events. So I think spread is far from dead, and I don't think there is going to be at any point where we see that.
Yeah, I feel like this has always been kind of like a misnomer anyway, because no spread deck is 100% all spread, right? Each deck has an alternate game plan. So even if you're not benching, your opponents can pivot to something else. Okie Dokie has made Hitmonbros a lot more dynamic in the way that it's able to attack opponent strategies. So there's that. So is spread dead? No. Can a really skilled player play around spread and win almost every spread matchup? Yes. And I think at highest levels, that's where you're going to see spread be dead.
Oh, yeah. And then we got Guzman Hala. Is it overpowered? No, because of that 2-card discard drawback. Anything where you have to discard 2 cards, especially in GLC in a singleton format, is terrible. I hate discarding cards. So when I have to use that for Guzman Hala, I will, especially early on. It's only overpowered if you get a donk, but most of the time you're not going to be getting a donk. It's happens in maybe 2 of 10 games where that happens, but Guzman Hala overpowered? Not really.
Yeah, 100% overpowered, Josh. But overpowered doesn't mean it should be banned or that it's bad for the format. Fan Rotom is overpowered, but these are consistency cards. These cards let you play the game. Guzman Hala lets me go get Capture Energy, and it lets me go get Artisan to let me get more basics to the bench. It lets me get TM Evolution. All of a sudden, my Evolution decks stand a chance. So Guzman Hala, appropriately powered. And it's what a card I want in Gym Leader Challenge.
It is OP, appropriate. Oh no, that's AP. My bad. Anyways, we got
it's
two
over.
bling. We got 2 bling or not to bling, and the answer is yes. You got a favorite deck. It's a singleton format. You're not going to have to get rid of that many cards ever, and bans happen very rarely to most of these cards. So to bling, yes. Not to bling. If you're building 10 decks, don't bling them all out. But that singular favorite one, bling that sucker out.
I mean, Pokemon just does the best job of this too, right? It's great that we have the choice, right? Having min rarity stuff be 25 cents, but then also having the ability to pay $100 to show off your love of that card is just so great. So again, like Josh said, your answer is whatever you want it to be. But I do think that everyone should have, if you're a Gym Leader Challenge diehard, you should have that one deck that you love more than the others on display for the world to see.
Then we got Team Rocket's Venture Bomb. It's the bomb card, And this card is just the silliest card ever. It's a damage on a trainer card, and you flip a coin. You either do 2 damage counters to your opponent or 2 damage counters to yourself. And I just think this is so silly. I'm excited to put this in just random decks or just see this randomly win some big event for absolutely no reason. The bomb.
Yeah, this card's so weird because it could be very good in a Monkey Dory deck, but the issue is that if you get heads, you get to do it on any of your opponent's Pokemon. But if you flip tails, it's only on your active. So it's not like you even get to be it's on my Monkey Dory. You have to put it on some random thing that's in the active. So it's the lack of choice on one side and then the ultimate choice on the other side that's so confusing about this card. Why is it not just whatever? It's specific this and not specific that. I think this card's going to be fun to play, and like Josh said, I'm going to play it all over the place.
New BDIF. We just recently lost one, and right now I think everything's trying to find a footing in the space in the meta right now. I think it's really up in the air, but I think there's a few contentions. As much as like I'm not sure that some of that dragon is doing really well, so that could take a cake. But somebody might crack colorless soon, and colorless might be on top yet again. But it really is trying to find its footing. It's kind of like whenever Marshadow got banned.
Yeah, for me, it's just like I jumped to special whales like immediately as like a deck that doesn't need a lot to function to do well. Like with the fact that you have like reversal energy to get you going if you fall behind without needing your abilities. I just think that that deck is really strong and really powerful. And I still think it's the best whales deck, even over Hydro Pump. I think spread has really fallen back though. Missing out on like the colorless bench is going to make spread just feel kind of to play. So as someone who enjoys it, I'm sad to kind of see colorless go away as the best deck in format. Tears.
Yeah, same. But that's been Quick Attack, guys. Let us know if there's anything in the comment. Like, let us know down in the comments if there's a Quick Attack that you want. Just give us a topic, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk 30 seconds each about it.
Yes. And also feel free to chime in your opinions on these ones that we just did. How are you feeling about the DC twin ban? Is spread dead in your opinion? And of course, everyone loves to talk about Kuzma Hala. I mean, so much to talk about. Let us know your thoughts.
Also, before we go on, I have some friends that I just now realized that they don't like YouTube videos. I have 2,500 plus likes on my liked videos list. They had 14, and they've had YouTube forever now. So guys, I just want to remind you, use that like button, press it. It's like right here. It's right over there. It's right over there. Click that like button. Share it with a friend.
Thanks.
Just had to get that off my chest.
All right, Josh, to finish up, we got a couple of 3-0 lists. So like every regionals, we have no idea how people did. I went 2-1 in every event, by the way. I played I think
2-1.
I played Icy Briar Psychic List, and I lost to the New Waylord in round 1 and then went 2 the rest of the way. And then I played Lightning Zone twice. I played a pod and went 2-1, which I lost the Drago Box with Dusk Buddies. So I went 2-1 or 3-1 all weekend, but it was a blast. But these guys are the real champions. These are the 3-0 list. And so we got Colby Rose Dark List. Pretty standard list, right, Josh?
Yeah, pretty standard list. And you kind of pointed at it before we started off with the Hustle Belt combo with Spiritomb. You know, just being able to get that quick dunk energy out pretty quickly if everything lines up for him.
Yeah, this is kind of like an amalgam of like standard dark and like turbo dark, because you don't really see like the Meowth to like just come in and punch, but you do see the Hustle Belt combo that you just mentioned, plus the Frozen City, plus the Rainbow energy. So there's like still that sort of edge to it, but it's there for the long game too. You know, you've got Galarian Moltres, which again is your worst starter that you'd ever want to see in a turbo dark list. But you know, you've got the Zoroark, you've got the Guzzlord, you have Hoopa for more donk potential, and Weavile that does 50 more for each energy. I like this list a lot in the fact that the same issues that I had with blinging out, you can see that Colby did too. There's a Cynthia and Caitlin, and there's an N that are not full arted. So again, we're the same in what money we're willing to spend on full arts. But I also like that this deck is playing Gloria, which is a card we kind of see on the decline, with like maybe Badoo out there in the wild. Going back to supporter-based basic search makes a lot of sense. So I kind of like the inclusion of Gloria, even though it feels like maybe a relic of older days. But cool list. I like it a lot. Gets hurt a lot by that ban we just talked about, though, Josh.
Yeah, I think this is just one of those decks, because you can tell this is Colby's favorite deck. Blinged out the wazoo, and just want to give it one more good go with the DTE and colorless before it goes off. And that's exactly what Colby did. And, you know, farewell to those cards. We'll see you later. We'll see you never. maybe at some retro GLC in the far future, we might see some of that.
Maybe we'll see like a battle of the bands again, and we'll see the double colorlesses versus like Amazing Rare Kyogre, or maybe Pokemon Research Lab back in the mix. Oh, what a show that would be.
Oh yeah.
For like, obviously where this deck might be going though, because Colby's already up here, obviously Janine's is a card. Search your deck for 2 dark energies and attach them. If it's your active, I think you poison it, right? Or something like that.
Yes.
So like Janine's, you might be harder on Turbo Energize. You might be playing Crispin. Like you might be like Crispin Melling. Who knows like what Dark List might look like. But Counter Energy is definitely something people are thinking about. Double Turbo feels so bad with Guzzlord. Because hitting a 100 and 120 are 2 different numbers. Like way different numbers in Gym Leader Challenge. So Turbo always has me a little scared, but it might be necessary now. Who knows?
Yeah, it might feel a lot better. But you bring up the Crispin Mela combo, and we've seen that, kind of on an uprise lately because of the bans, and you kind of see that as a way to accelerate a little bit quicker. So we might see a lot more people playing just random other energies in there, so they can get more use out of Crispin or more fire energies. If you have more Pokemon that run with colorless typings in their attacks, you might see more Melas in the list as well, which is definitely interesting. And we'll just see kind of where that brings us in the future with that type of engine.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to make these decks feel a lot less donkey, right? Because like when you look at like Hoopa and Spiritomb and even the Weavile, it's 1 dark energy. So if you have to dilute your deck with like other colors of energy, all of a sudden that turn 1 attach and attack becomes a little less frequent, which again may not be a bad thing for Gym Leader Challenge on the whole. But again, it might just be that these decks have to kind of maybe pivot away from these really fast, aggressive starts and might have to start thinking for a longer game. Are we going to see Grimmsnarl or that Mabastiff that like makes your opponent switch out, which both have, colorless energy cost, be more common? I don't know, but that's where my brain goes.
We'll see where they go. I don't think it'll change much, but definitely got nerfed. It just reminds me of whenever champions get nerfed on, any type of, if you've ever played a video game or anything where they nerf something, you can definitely feel it, but sometimes it's not as terrible as you might think.
Yep, that is true. Well, this next list, Fighting Spread. Josh, man, Fighting Spread's been kind of on a tear. If you've been keeping track of online results, you've seen, Mickey B313 doing really well in online tournaments with his version of this list. And now we see Genos doing well, going 3-0 on Sunday's League with his Fighting Spread list. I mean, what's not to like about this list?
Oh, I love this type of list. I've had a fighting list forever, just sitting in my bag at all times. Whenever Ting Lu got announced and it was out, I was like, I want to play with this guy. So I got the Palisand in my deck. I got the Ting Lu. I've got pretty much everything that you see here besides the Buzzwole, but I love the Buzzwole, and I wish they had better Buzzwole cards in to play with, because I just love a big swollen bug with muscles, man. I'm like, oh man, I wish this guy was a little bit more powerful, but he's not.
Actually,
but hopefully they'll print some cool things later.
Both cards. So like, there's this Buzzwole in fighting. There's the Buzzwole in grass that has like the touchdown attack and like the ability that's like more damage per each prize your opponent's taken. Like both of them feel so close to doing cool things. Like if this Buzzwole was just 140 instead of 120, such a better card, right? And then if the grass one was like, 10 extra damage per prize, be so much better. But like, we're not there. It's a bug. And they definitely put that in over the muscles.
Yeah, but you got your spreaders that they're slightly more tankier spreaders than your regular spreaders at like 120, 110, 90, so on and so forth. These guys have 140 HP. They do 30 damage. I believe both of them do 30 damage to everything, depending on if the requirements are met, such as Ting Lu, if there's a stadium out, you do 30 damage to everything, but you got to discard it. It's only for 1 energy, which is awesome. So you got that going on. And then from there, you're just kind of cleaning up with Lucario. Depending if they're hitting with big guys, you can send that guy up, hit for, 150 for 1 energy? You hit for 150 for 1 energy.
For 1.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super helpful, especially if you've got knocked out prior. And then the Blood Moon Ursaluna is kind of cool. It has that similar to ability as what we saw with the Moltres, where you lay it down and you get to put 2 energy on there from your hand, and then you just attach 1 if you have that extra 1, which hopefully you do. It's going to be hard in fight, especially in fighting, to have 3 energy in hand a lot of the time. But then you can clean up. Depending on how much damage that active Pokemon has, you're going to be doing like 30-something odd more damage per damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon with Blood Moon Ursaluna, which actually helps out a lot. So you got your spreaders kind of just hopefully spreading 2, maybe 3 turns, hopefully, and then you're cleaning up with Blood Moon Ursaluna, Buzzwole, and Lucario. And I can kind of see how this deck works, and I enjoy this style.
Yeah. The issue I have with these decks, and so, Genis and I actually ended up playing a match. We played during our pod. So he was on this and I was on Dusk Buddies. And Ting Lu is a great card and a very oppressive card. Like 30 damage from as early as turn 1 going second is kind of bonkers. And like setup decks are just, basically just, this deck is feasting on them. So there's that. But Ting Lu can never, ever, ever get around Bench Barrier because of the way it interacts with Silent Lab. So if you play Silent Lab to turn off Bench Barrier, the image doesn't get placed until, after the stadium has been discarded. So it never can turn off Bench Barrier if Ting Lu is in the active. You can do that with Palisand. You can Palisand and do all the cool stuff with Silent Lab. But Ting Lu can never get around Bench Barrier unless you're using something like Hex Maniac, which this list is playing. So when I was playing against Genos, I did just sit behind Bench Barrier Mew, and like he had Machoke. So it was just kind of a war of attrition. Of course, like my Pokemon had resistance, and that helped a ton. And then once we were able to deal with the Machoke, it kind of came to it. But like any other deck that doesn't have Bench Barrier, this deck can just crush them and crush them fast. So this is a really strong, powerful deck. Just be prepared for those games where your opponent's like, here's a Mr. Mime, here's a Mew, here's my own Machoke. And you're like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully you can kind of get damage out early, or just be like, all right, I guess I'll use Silent Lab with your pile of sand, hopefully, and be able to get that done pretty quickly. But other than that, yeah.
This deck is strong. I mean, even playing against it with a Bench Barrier, it still gave me issues. So it's a cool deck. It's a strong deck. People should play.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
All right. Last 3-0 deck we're going to talk about. And I got the inside scoop on this one. This is my boy Justice, who I talked about earlier on the pod. My roommate throughout all the Atlanta regional events. And he was playing Hitmonbros, baby. His list is very different than mine. And by very different, I think we're like 3 cards different.
I was about to say, I was like, there's like 2 cards different.
Yeah, so like he's on Focus Sash and I'm not playing Focus Sash. He's playing Rosa. I'm on Teammates and Raihan. I think 3 is too many, so I was just playing 2, but he's got all 3 in there. I'm not playing Erica's Hospitality, and of course he made the switch to Colress's Tenacity over Stadium Nav. So Justice went Friday's official event, Saturday's official event, went 6-0. So like he wrecked with this deck. And I think the Sunday event he went 2-1. I think his only loss was to Dragon Snipe with the Zargard or whatever. So like, I mean, he was gaming all weekend with Hitmonbros and with his list. So I'm proud of my boy. He did a great job. He's one of my locals. And love to see Hitmonbros do well. Every week I try to talk him into playing Ninja Boys, and for a short, brief period of time, it was in there. And he was like, "Nah, I play tested. It wasn't good enough." He took it out. So
Man.
I can't even get my locals to play Ninja Boy. It's a failed mission.
That's why I mean, you could probably cut Erica's hospitality easy for Ninja Boys.
I mean, there's so many cuts. Okie dokie. I mean, just play it Ninja Boy instead.
But since you got Erica's hospitality full art, you can't not. So that's probably the reason.
Yeah. If Ninja Boy had a full art, automatic inclusion into this list. And you can see my boy Justice here blinged out. Like, this is his deck. So I love to see it. No full art fill blower. I might have to get him that or a scoop up net. That might be my gift to him next time I see him.
Don't even mention fill blower right now. Fill blower is astronomical. It went up so much out of nowhere.
Is it higher than $20? Last time I checked, it was $20, and I was like, $20.
$20, and then a lot of people bought them out.
No, I don't have one.
And now, like, even moderate to heavy is like $40 plus.
Yeah, it'll get reprinted. That's a card that you want to reprint.
Yeah, totally. If they reprinted that, I think Pokemon would be accused of being insane right now.
Isn't there like no tool removal though right now in standard?
Not after. I mean, I think Ruffian just got.
Oh printed, yeah.
That's like the only thing right now, because we did have lost vacuum, but that just rotated out. So yeah. Right now I think it's Ruffian, and that might be it.
Yeah, and Ruffian we talked about is from the same Pokemon. You have to do the special energy and the tool from the same Pokemon, so less useful in Gym Leader Challenge, but. All right, at least there's something for you standard people out there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good against a few decks in standard right now, but yeah. I'm excited for Destin Rivals to come out.
Yeah,
more cards from that.
I already pre-ordered all my cards from Japan. Like I'm pretty stoked for it. So I got like my Misty, and we'll talk about this I'm sure in the next couple of weeks, but like Misty Starmie is on the way. That new Arbok is on the way. Blaziken. Like, there's so many good cards. They're like
Blaziken, yeah. Actually, like, I've been wanting to make Fire, but Fire doesn't have the play style I want. And Blaziken got announced, and I was like, all right, finally. I think we're going to be there.
Well, you don't like
finally going to play
bricking
Fire.
Every game?
No.
That's all I ever do with Fire. You love to brick. Play Fire.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, this is Atlanta sounded like a blast to see all these different deck lists coming out. And of course, like, just to kind of these are these 3-0 deck lists, I just found randomly online somehow. So if you listen to this podcast and you want to be on these type of things after like a regionals or something like that, you can message myself, you can message Jeff and with your 3-0 deck list so we can have some more deck list to talk about. But other than that, it's like really hard to find these. It's like a needle in a haystack trying to like specifically look up 3-0 Atlanta regionals GLC and just see what pops up, so these are just kind of some of the ones that popped up besides what Jeff got us in the beginning from their little grassroots tournament that they were able to put on as well.
Nothing kind of screams like fake format more than like not having official results too. Like, I hate that. Like, I feel like for Gym Leader Challenge to like really grow is like we need the top tier deck list from these events, and so like obviously Josh and I are both trying to do our best with getting them, but anything you guys can out there to do to help us to get them, that would also be great. We want to talk about your deck, so send it to us. So that we can use it and make more content with it, as always.
Yeah, 100%. Send it over.
Well, all right. Here's our meme for the day.
Meme.
Is this a balanced format now, with DCE and Twin being gone? And I think the answer is an unequivocal maybe.
We'll see. Time will tell.
We'll need more.
But right now, it doesn't seem like anything's dominating, so...
Yeah,
well, I think we might be good.
Yeah, I think so. I think no one's just cracked what colorless needs to look like yet. I think once someone cracks what colorless needs to look like, I think we'll have a picture of where it fits, and where everything else falls into line, right? Because right now, or at least at Atlanta Regionals, everything was revolving around what can you do against colorless, And right now it's just like we're all like just leaves in the wind. Where are we blowing? And we'll find our way.
Oh yeah. And I've been working on something myself. I'm not sure if it's going to be any good or not, but it's definitely been fun to just randomly play against my wife. So
that's a win right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But thanks guys for watching. It's been awesome. We got this brand new band Twin Energy Double Colors in the background to come along with some of the more modern bands. This format's super old, guys. But other than that, I'm your host, Josh Benson. We got Jeff Baisch, and we just hope that you guys have a great week, and we'll see you later.